Let's see Joe Biden respond to a question about this hospital. This is him on the plane as he's flying back from Israel. And it was striking nonsense. I mean, even for him, it was striking. It is just frightening I mean, the amount of elder abuse that is going on here is just like, I don't know who's got the hand up his ass that makes him talk, but it's just scary. It's uh actually, before I show that part, I want to show this first part where this is CBS News, which is their like job is to make the president and America look good at all costs. And yet even they are like, what do we show this video? This is awful. It's kind of horrifying. Watch how out of it it's all right. Yeah, whatever.
I spent an hour and a half about 17 or 18 before. And I don't know how to say this. Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken with them.
Oh, I can't. I don't know if I can handle anymore. It's like it's just an extended death rattle. It's just my Joe Biden impersonation. But beyond that, and I know it's an easy thing to just make fun of, but the reason it's so horrifying is this is supposedly the guy in charge of the largest empire the world has ever seen. This is supposedly the guy making decisions of life and death around the world, and it's just and clearly who's actually making these horrifying decisions to just fight in Ukraine to the last Ukrainian, decisions to bomb endlessly Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq, just wherever, the coups, the economic wars we do on countries, all of that. It's that one eyeball behind Joe Biden. You can see him right there. You see, that's his puppeteer most of the time. That's Blinken standing behind him without pupils because he's a lizard person. And he's just creeping behind him, just making sure he doesn't say anything too weird. Now, legit, they're trying to make sure that Biden, they don't know how his medication is going to work out. They don't know what he's going to say. Every once in a while, he just goes way off the rails. Like in that speech where he said that we have to take Putin out of power, which was a crazy admission for the White House, that the war in Ukraine was to create a coup in Russia. Like that, where the White House was like, whoa, holy God, don't. And so Blinken now stands 3 inches behind him to try and make sure he doesn't get that far off the rails. The lizard person behind him is there to basically, if Biden were to start going too rogue, Blinken would just tackle him, just full tackle, shoulder down, and then say he was helping him because he fell over or something. But so here's Biden answering the question about the hospital.
Some sense of hope, and that's, if I can do a little bit of that. You notice I don't say things like that. I can understand that.
You or the Israelis, that they didn't have anything to do with it. Do you have a message to the people?
I ache for him.
Sorry, I was at the wrong part. Here we go.
No. Zero. None.
Mr. President?
How about the hospital, sir? People all over the region are upset about the hospital and don't necessarily believe you or the Israelis, that they didn't have anything to do with it. Do you have a message to the people in the street?
I love this reporter. Like, you notice how he phrases it? Now, I guess you give him some credit for asking the question. Hey, people don't believe you that Palestinian, that Gazans bombed their own hospital. So I'll give him some credit for asking the question. But you notice how he phrases it? He doesn't go, You expect us to believe this? This is nuts. Like Israel's bombing schools, they're bombing medical clinics. So why would it be hard to believe they'd bomb this hospital? So rather than saying that, he goes, there are some people that are out there somewhere who say this sounds a little fishy for you to say Israel didn't bomb the hospital. Anyway, he phrases it like that to give Biden kind of an easier out.
Right now.
Well, I can understand why in this circumstance they wouldn't believe.
Oh, could you? Could you, Biden, understand why people wouldn't believe that Israel didn't bomb the hospital?
I can understand that. But I would not, you notice I don't say things like that unless I have faith in the source from which I've gotten them.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. In fact, you just did it a couple of days ago when you claimed you had seen video of the beheading of babies and it was fake. You had not, because they don't exist. And you had to retract. The White House had to walk back, as they say, those statements where you didn't just claim it happened. You said, I didn't. This is all practically a direct quote. I didn't think I'd ever see the day where I'd see video of beheading of babies. Well, you didn't. You didn't. So that's part of it. So here he is saying, oh, I only say this stuff when I've seen the source. No, you don't. You say this stuff whenever you frickin' feel like it. Whenever it serves the purposes of U.S. propaganda, that is your job. That is the job of the black-eyed man behind you, is to just spit out nonsense and fake news, and here we're doing it again.
Our Defense Department says it's highly unlikely that it was Israelis, but if it had a different footprint, and they've intercepted some. Anyway, so.
I like how he cuts himself off. He cuts himself off for two reasons. One is, if you really get into the details of how they proved it, it's all bullcrap. So he doesn't really want to get into the details of the proof that Israel didn't bomb the hospital. But beyond that, he also, I would imagine, considering you can see how his brain's working or not working, I would imagine at this point, he doesn't know what he's allowed, what's sensitive, what's classified, what he's actually seen versus what he's making up that he's seen. So when he starts saying things like, our Defense Department showed us, oh, that's right, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to say anything or what I'm allowed to say or what I was told to say or what. I mean, that's the thing is, I do actually, I don't know about respect. I'm impressed by some of these politicians who do a brilliant job of speaking as fast as, not Biden, but as fast as I'm speaking now, and yet everything they're saying is a lie. Meaning there is half of their brain is doing another thing, which is calculating what the lie is as they speak out of this side of the brain. And so they've got to constantly think, how's the lie going to work here? And, Obama was brilliant at it. A lot of them are brilliant at it. Trump, not very good at it because, yes, he was lying all the time, but he was also saying things that you're not supposed to say as a president, calling places shithole countries and stuff like that. So he wasn't very good at it in that regard. He's good at lying. I guess you can give him that. But most of them are. So Biden is, he's losing his ability to decide what's the lie, what's not the lie.